scenario in the papers today, the My Info papers, that says that there would need to be physical distancing and targeted lockdowns through to the first half of 2022. In that scenario, economic activity would be $20 billion lower. So are you suggesting that there won't be a need for targeted lockdowns at all over the first half of 2022?
Well, as you know, there's another scenario as well that points to the fact that the savings ratio goes down faster than what was provisioned for in the budget, and that sees a big jump in terms of economic activity. So it goes both ways, Lani. What we're doing in terms of these scenarios in the budget is showing how there can be a negative and there can also be a positive impact depending on how we manage the Omicron variant. We did that previously, we've done it again. I think it just provides extra information for people like yourself.
Treasurer, your figures in the budget are positive, your forecasts are positive, but we still hear from business that they're under huge pressure on issues like labour shortages and particularly supply chain. So how do you reconcile that? How can you be so sure that those problems businesses experiencing now won't be denting those figures? And you talk about your temporary concessions to business. Would you consider making some of them permanent, like the instant asset write-off, and if not, why not?
Well, the expanded instant asset write-off has been a great success, and again, you can see that investment has been rising even though we're in the middle of a pandemic. That's sort of counterintuitive. You'd normally think businesses would put their hands in their pockets and not make those investments. And so in these numbers, you see business investment up 16% over this year and next, which is very positive and a significant upgrade to what we were expecting at budget. We'll make decisions about various tax measures and spending measures at the appropriate time as we lead into the budget at the end of March. What you said about workforce shortages is a real issue. We have seen job ads now at a 13-year high. There are more than 200,000 job ads right now with jobs available for people. The hospitality sector is crying out for more workers. We've seen in the agricultural sector a great need. Construction, mining, professional services and IT. Today, as you know, we've lifted the pause, the 2-week pause on international students and skilled workers coming in. We expect some 200,000 people will come through our doors now that we have lifted that pause over time. That's going to provide additional workers to meet some of these skilled workforce shortages. But it won't be instantaneous, will it? It won't be in
supply chain issues as well.
Yeah, it won't be instantaneous. You're absolutely right, Karen. The other point, though, is we're investing heavily in skills. There's some additional measures in today's MyEFO around what we're doing for apprentices, continuing a wage subsidy at a tapered lower level. That's been a great success. There are 217,000 trade apprentices in work today. That's the highest since the records began back in 1963. We've got 450,000 plus places in the job trainer program, of which there are 250,000 plus who have already enrolled. There is, as I think Simon alluded to, extra programs in here for older workers to be skilled up, for people who are entering the workforce for the first time. There are programs. So we're tackling this at both sides, Karen. We're going for skilling the workforce here in Australia so that they're equipped, ready to meet those job shortages, as well as opening our borders when it's safe to do so, which will bring in more people. And I also do point out there is, in terms of the population numbers in MyEFO, 120,000 extra people coming in net overseas migration as a result of us being able to open the borders earlier than what we said at budget. At budget, we said it would gradually reopen from the middle of next year, and clearly these borders are staying open. Sorry,
Treasurer, on real wages, that actually sink by half a percentage point in this financial year, increase only half of that by the following financial year, which means that people won't get a real wage increase for 2 years. Why should that be the case, given unemployment is so low, there's so many demands for people to work? Isn't this reason for you to temper net overseas migration, not increase it dramatically?
Well, firstly, I don't see it as a binary choice between having a sensible, measured immigration program that is helping to bring in skilled workers, family reunion, humanitarian needs, and as well as, of course, getting a tighter labour market, putting the policies in place that drive real wages up, because that's what it does. So let me put it in context for you, Andrew. When we came to government, real wages were falling under the Labor Party, falling, and unemployment was rising. What you see in these numbers is over the next 3 years, you see wages going up 2 3/4, 3, 3 1/4, and you see inflation for those 3 years, 2.5, 2.5, and 2.5. So actually you've got real wages rising in those 3 years. Last year, we saw a record fall in inflation, and we saw real wages the highest that they were for 10 years. Now, Labor doesn't like to talk about that, but that was last year. You're right that inflation now at 3% has risen and it's been more persistent. But what these numbers show is over the 3 years coming, you will see real wages growth. And what these numbers also show today, which is the absolute focus for the Morrison government, is creating more jobs. 366,000 new jobs today. A record number of Australians in work, 180,000 more than at the start of the pandemic. Unemployment at 4.6%, coming down to 4.5%. A tighter labour market drives more competition for labour, as Karen was saying, goes employers out there chasing for workers, and when they're chasing workers, they're paying higher wages. That's good news for the economy.